Well, they say age is just a number. And my guest on the show today is someone who really practices it. He's lived many lives. Son of a farmer, a scientist, entrepreneur, NP investor, and now at the age of 60 plus, he's an influencer. Well, you've guessed the name right. I'm talking about someone who I always look forward to engage, but more importantly, engage and learn. Mr. A. Velumani. Sir, how should I introduce you as?
Value, money.
I'm seeing your presence on social media.
Yeah, I somehow didn't know that I will be liked by the millennials. I gave a try, and within a 3 months period, I see myself having an 1.2 million followers. I think I am resonating well, probably because I talk truth without coloring.
So what's next now for you? What is next now for influencer Mr. A. Velumani?
I think I will be running a handle, one in English, one in Hindi, and one in Tamil.
Okay.
And I am likely to work on reaching a 10 million followers in each of them. And that's to just give some kind of clarity for people where society is misleading, where education has gone wrong, and why people are not happy though they are becoming richer. These things I want to communicate. India is a country with villages, poverty, and I want people from village and poverty to feel we have a lot more to achieve. Runa kis baat ki?
Sahi baat hai. I'll take our conversation back. A year ago when we interacted, you were of the view that the worst is behind diagnostics sector, but the best is yet to come. The profits have stopped contracting, but they are not rising. Competitive intensity is also increasing. M&A has started. What is your view on the way how diagnostic space is moving?
See, the diagnostic space had a wonderful time between 1990 and 2020, 30 years. I think entire industry was growing. There was no too much of competition. There was enough pricing comfort, and there was lack of attention from the investor side. So the industry was moving. I think once 3-4 companies got listed, it got attention of investors, and the multiples these companies were enjoying got them to invest in too many companies, and probably around 100 companies got invested anywhere from $2 million to $25 million. And all of them replicated the same thing, and all copied each other, and all fought on only pricing. And so that has brought to 2020, but that time COVID came in, and it looked like COVID will take it for another period of time, but it was very short-lived. And then subsequently, you find all the scripts are down around 40% up. Which wasn't expected by me. Many people call me that, you know, he exited, he was visionary, in the right time he exited. But I didn't expect it to go up, but I didn't even expect it to come down.
You know, you've always said that, look, as an entrepreneur, you cannot be emotional about what you create because you're in the business of creating and then selling. But somewhere Thyrocare is a company or a franchise which has deteriorated if I just look at the market share, the profitability matrix, and also the return ratios, and also investors. I mean, the stocks are sub 500 rupees. So somewhere are you feeling upset about this was your business, you've sold the business, you should not have emotional connect, but, you know, जो अपना बच्चा है उसका तो emotion रहता ही है.
See, one thing, if you look at it, the way in which, you know, in the entire world, India is cheapest in healthcare. In entire India, I was the cheapest, and still my balance sheet was enjoying 40% profitability literally for 2 decades. What was responsible for that kind of profitability was team, HR, trained staff, freshers taken, most frugal in terms of HR, yet most powerful. That is no more there. I realized that when I was there, it was 11% HR cost. Today, it's around 22-23% within 2 years, which means what? Efficiencies are lost. Obviously, it will impact the balance sheet. I'm feeling only bad for that. That the company continues to enjoy a great growth and profit only if the HR is in right format.
There are a lot of founders who've gone back and reconnected with their roots. Classic example here, Nandan Nilekarni. He's come back and is playing an active role in Infosys. There was a brief period where Mr. Narayan Murthy came back into Infosys and was able to stabilize the ship. Would you be open to this idea of going back to Thyrocare?
I was never thinking that I will dissociate from Thyrocare even after selling.
Okay. But are you associated with them?
The day I signed on the share purchase agreement, I was also asked to sign the resignation.
Okay.
So my dream of continuing to support was terminated there. I think I would have loved to remain without remuneration, without designation as a force behind the story of Thyrocare. I was looking for it. All the youth told me, "Sir, aap bade hain, aap wisdom hai." But then all were talking only to convince me to sell. But subsequently, there was not even a single communication between the new promoters and the old promoters.
As of today, there is no
No
communication.
communication.
Okay. Would you be looking at investing in diagnostic stocks as a value investor?
Now, once I look at the last 2.5 years of journey of me after exiting, all diagnostics business stocks are less by average 45%. Now, it will take 4 years for them to be where they were.
So, Velumani is not finding value in diagnostic stocks.
See, Velumani sees a value, but then how long it will take to get how good returns is not very clear, because there are too many players inside. There is not much room in pricing to play. Only efficiencies can play, and efficiencies may not truly give you that kind of returns unless some breakthrough happens in diagnostic industry.
If given an option to start a franchise on the lines of Thyrocare, which is, it was giving a simple and a cheaper solution to a very common problem, and then you were able to scale it up. So your business was, you identified the problem, you got the cost efficiencies into place, and then you scaled it up. That is a combination which any entrepreneur wants. Where do you see this combination at play? If you have to start or incubate a new business or perhaps back an entrepreneur?
See, I see not less than 100 potential businesses with an ability to scale up, with a possibility of reaching $1 billion market cap, whenever I am on the mall or whenever I am on a high street. I think I have always been telling, what do you do is not as important as how do you do it. Number one. Number two, there are people who reach a particular stage and then they don't scale up. Let me put it this way. मैं कहाँ था, मैं यहाँ आ गया, रिस्क क्यों लेना है? This is one kind. Another kind, मैं कहाँ था, मैं कहाँ आ गया, मैं कहाँ जा सकता हूँ? This is missing. Risk taking is missing.
So the capital which you got when you sold Thyrocare, you invested some part of it in Pharmeasy. Some part was marked for charitable purposes. Some part was given to family. And all you've done is that you've just bought a new house with that capital.
Yeah,
Or
I
personally
haven't
for yourself.
splurged. I have not splurged because I am not, my capability is only to create. I'm a very poor consumer. I have to now learn how to consume. So I haven't done anything which makes me to feel yes.
So have you parked that surplus which you got into a government bond, or are you looking at investing in startups? Are you taking risk with that capital, or are you letting it, or are you parking it in the bond market?
I think I am known for talking truth.
Okay,
And
that's why I'm asking you this question.
I want the business channel to communicate to the business community. I have taken my money, exactly is 4,500 crore.
Yes.
1/3 I wanted to put in equity, which is what you call as private equity.
Okay.
And I chose to do in one company.
Okay.
And that company I invested 1,500. That is in doldrums.
That is Pharmeasy.
Yes,
Okay.
that is in doldrums. But I am of that opinion, by year 2030, I should be having my money without returns intact.
Okay.
That means it's going to be a journey.
Okay.
Remaining 1/3, I have put into mutual fund and ETF.
Okay.
Because I want not too much of returns, not too much of risk. That has to stabilize. Remaining 1/3 I have put in real estate.
Okay.
So this is my monetary allocation. Had I not sold my company, by now I would have been 60% down. By selling the company, even after losing that kind of notionally 1,500 crore, I'm still 30% down.
Let's look at how do you see the future trends. And Thyrocare is nothing else but a simple endorsement of a good old Indian thought, which is Sasta, Sundar, Tikau. It was cheap. It was Tikau because it was stable. And then it was Sundar. Why? Because it had a distribution network and a great brand. Where do you see this combination of Sasta, Sundar, Tikau working in India?
I think you call it as that terminology I call as isse sasta, isse behtar kahin nahi.
Okay.
Which means, it's not costly and it is not the best. But isse sasta, isse behtar kahin nahi. I think, let me put it this way. Entire pyramid, you make into 3 slices. Rich, poor, middle class. If you do business for rich, you will never make too much of money. If you can't do business with the poorest because they don't have anything to buy. In the middle class, which is cost conscious, you must produce a solution which is not poor quality, but it is the cheapest. I think this is possible. Just a couple of days back, I tweeted, all those big showrooms where everything looks glittering, the business is in loss. Wherever you see a crowd standing, it's not glittering, that guys are making profit. So, isse sasta, isse behtar, kahin nahi should be the dream for every entrepreneur.
Like Bezos used to say that while we always try to look at what is changing, what does not change, I think, is more important to focus on. And customers, they always want variety and they always want it cheap. That is what the essence of entrepreneurship is.
Yeah, I think whenever you make a service or product which is too costly, I think the punchline is where rich go, poor cannot go. Where poor goes, rich does not go. So you have to find where you want to be, and that's it. So there are plenty of opportunities.
But everyone after COVID is of the view that, okay, India has become a K-shaped economy. India is moving up the value chain. The more, if I may use the Hindi word, makhan malai for an entrepreneur is in going up the pyramid rather than coming down the pyramid. Would you agree with that?
See, I am from Coimbatore. C.K. Prahlad is from Coimbatore. He only wrote the book, The Fortune Lies in the Bottom of the Pyramid.
Yes.
Usko koi, no one can prove it wrong. Ego only is asking you to go up. If you are focused on the middle of the pyramid, you are very powerful. So I am of that opinion. All businesses which are very powerful, what about Relaxo? Like that, there are plenty of brands which is middle of the pyramid focused. I am sure that's a long-term journey.
A lot of people say we admire Mr. A. Velumani for his grit, for his vision, for his ability, and for his whole unique habit of reinventing himself. That is the first impression which everyone has when I say Mr. A. Velumani. But whom do you admire the most? Whom do you say that, okay, here's one individual or a business leader who I think I can really look up to?
To be very honest with you, I never had even a dream that I will become an entrepreneur 3 months before I resigned my government job. So there was no one who was, getting me inside. After coming inside, I was focused so much inside my business, मैं किसी का पढ़ता भी नहीं था, सुनता भी नहीं था. So if you ask me honestly, I didn't really feel I had somebody as a mentor or I wanted to chase. Having said that, I was very fast in taking decision. I think mine was a story of guts, guts to get in, Grits to remain in, and then glory. So I got in, I remained there, and I must tell you, my only inspiration always was my mother. There can't be a lady with 5 children left with 0 income, and she made it. And I still believe for her also it was guts, grits, and then glory. I believe this is something, if at all somebody asks who was your mentor, suddenly my mother only comes, but then she was illiterate. And I don't think qualification is very essential to be a mentor for anyone.
So true,
it's just an intelligence.
Such a powerful comment, such a powerful comment. So before we wrap, I'll talk about 3 sectors. First, diagnostics. What are the 2-3 trends you see in the next 3 to 5 years evolving in the diagnostics sector?
See, there is a distress for established players who felt that it will keep going up and up and up, but then it suddenly is not moving up. And a lot of guys have put in money thinking that let us burn, let us reach a size, but then many have closed down. So according to me, an ideal business model has to evolve. Economical, profitable system should evolve, and that should scale up. I don't say that has to be newly evolved. Existing guys have to restructure and work on it. It's very difficult for me to tell what 2-3 things, but it needs certainly a lot of inputs to put it sustainable growth.
Okay. Medicine. What is that big trend you see in medicine?
Also, you ask in diagnostics, let me tell you in diagnostics, the genetic sequencing is in the horizon. I think from 2030 to 2050, 20 years is going to be for sequencing. Currently, the diagnosis in sequencing is happening in even 2 to 3% of the cases.
And cost is very high.
And cost is very high. And a disruption is likely to come there. What costs 25,000 today to do a sequencing test is going to be 5,000 rupees. That is going to be there. Without disruption, the volumes will not come up. Maja nahi aayega. So that is one thing will happen. Coming to medicine also, lot of things were done guesswork. With some patients it works, with some patients it doesn't work, trial and combination. A genetically sequenced information of Nikunj will help the doctor to decide which medicine will work for Nikunj, and this is most likely to be around 2030.
Fantastic. Medicine.
That's what I tell you.
No,
Okay?
medicine, when I say medicine, the chronic versus acute, the whole combination of Ayurveda versus allopathy. Where do you see medicines changing?
See, allopathy didn't do the wonders which it was expected some 25-30 years back. It didn't do. I think it's a combination of wellness, lifestyle changes, and the medicines which is in allopathy. These are supposed to be together helping. But in my opinion, in the last 5 years, nothing exciting has happened in medicine. I don't see in anything in next 5 years. I can't say anything beyond that.
Okay. Final question. Healthcare, when I say healthcare, I'm including hospitals here. Because that's where the flows have been. That's where the consolidation, at least, is happening in India. That's where, I guess, innovation is also there. And that's where serious entrepreneurs now are looking at changing and disrupting. How do you see the entire hospital or healthcare sector in India changing?
See, general hospitals are becoming a challenge. Huge infrastructure, all departments, multi-speciality, मैं सबसे बड़ा हूँ. This is capitally intensive and doesn't give a long-term prosperity. It gives a short-term security. Single speciality hospitals have to come.
Okay.
And single speciality, let me tell you, that's the punchline. Doing one thing and doing it in all geography makes sense. Doing everything and doing in one geography doesn't make sense.
Such a perfect thing, such a perfect thing. So nice to always meet you.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
It has been
Velumani.
always a pleasure to come to ET now.
Thank you very much.
And we have been enjoying.
Thank you very much.